When he tackles you, you feel it, and he could definitely pick it off from the air too. Got a chance to talk with him last night. I know he was there too, supporting the volleyball team. How we doing, Cam?
I'm good. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, not doing bad, man. Just talking a little bit of football, talking some matchups tonight. You got a big one
Yes,
that you're
sir.
going to be involved in tonight. I guess before we get into the player profile portion, let's just start there. I know everyone's excited about this game. Talk about your excitement going into playing Ursuline and talk about the game last year and how you're using that to motivate and fuel you going into this one.
Yes, sir. Like we're really excited for this game. It's definitely been marked on our calendar since last year. Right after that game, we still feel that pain from the hurt, like especially by losing by 1 point. It was a shootout, and this year we definitely are coming prepared, and I know they're coming prepared, and it's going to be a great game. I'm just happy that it's game of the week, and we get to put our talents on TV this year.
You know, first 3 games of the season, you guys have looked so impressive. What's been kind of the theme in the locker room, and what do you think has been one of the main keys for this team to look as good as they have in the first 3 weeks against 3 really quality opponents?
Yeah, I think this year the difference is we're playing for each other. Like instead of every individual playing for themselves, we all bond as a team and we're playing cohesively. And especially on our defensive side, I feel like we picked it up from last year. And everybody's making the plays that they need to make. And if they don't, the next guy's right there to make it for us. And that's what's making us great this year.
We've had B-Rob on before, and he's mentioned about Coach Parker's influence with this team and how you can almost hear a pin drop by his presence just walking into a room.
Yeah.
Talk about your personal relationship with Coach Parker and how he is as a motivator as well as a coach for you.
Yes, sir. Coach Parker to me, I respect him so much, and he's done so much for me, not only me but our whole team. Like you said, when he walks into a locker room, we're all locked in on him, listening to what he has to say, because as a coach and him being him, he knows what he's talking about, and we just try and gain that knowledge from him.
He brings so much energy to the team too. He's always promoting you guys. He does a great job with just bringing energy to the program. What have you felt energy from him, and how much on game day do you kind of feel and feed into his energy?
Yeah, he's honestly just excited as the next guy that's standing right next to me. He's the one that's coming in the locker room fired up, ready to go, and that just gets us going even more. He wants to win just as bad as we do, and that's what makes us as good as we are. Is we got each other, but then Coach Parker is right behind us.
Anthony mentioned too before you came on choosing Iowa State as your destination. I know we're talking about high school, we're in the high school realm, but I gotta figure it was a stress relief getting that kind of decision out of the way before the season.
Yes, sir.
But you were a hot commodity, man. A lot of colleges
Yeah.
were offering you spots. What was it like going through that process too? And why Iowa State? What made you choose them?
Yeah, the whole recruiting process, it's a wild process, and anybody that goes through it, they understand it. You go through all these days where you're wondering if a coach is gonna text you or you got to text this coach, and at the end of the day, for me, Iowa State was his best spot because when I went up there, I just felt the love and everything that they had to give me. The coaches text me every day, if not every day, every other day. They make sure I'm good, and they're making sure they know what's going on with my life, and not only me, my family's life. So my parents they believe I'm in good hands when I go up there.
You know, Iowa State obviously has a little bit of a Youngstown connection in Coach Haycock, who's a defensive coordinator. Did that
Yeah.
have any kind of step into picking Iowa State? Was there any added bonus to having a coach with a Youngstown connection a little bit?
Yeah, honestly, Coach Haycock was my dad's defensive back coach when he played at YSU. So just having that connection as well, like it definitely boosted my decision a little bit. But it's just great because just to see like the generations that he's coaching, how my dad understands how he coaches and how he's going to coach me hard when I get up there, and I'm excited.
Obviously, you're looking for a good coach when you're going into colleges, but what are the qualities you look for in a coach? And what are some other qualities in a college that you're looking for or that you were looking for that made you land on Iowa State?
Yeah, Iowa State for me, it's just the coaches care more about me as a person than just a player. Like they want to make sure when I come up there, obviously I'm gonna do what I have to do on the field and do everything, and they're gonna get me prepared for that. But they're also gonna get me prepared to go into life as a man and not just going out into the world not knowing what I'm gonna do. And also the academic part of it. Iowa State's a great academic school, and so I'm gonna get the whole full circle when I go up there, not just athletics.
And we know Iowa State has a big game tomorrow against Iowa. It's a big rivalry. Are you
Yeah.
excited to watch that one and try to
Oh
support your
yeah.
future team?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm gonna be glued to the TV while that's on. So
Have you been down there for a game yet?
no, this year I'm going down to Oklahoma. When they play
Oh,
Oklahoma. Yep. So it was either that one or Baylor, but I'm going with Oklahoma.
all right. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Now, you've been in a lot of big games in your career with high school too, and in your career overall. Out of the games that you've played in so far, what is one of your favorite games, or one that comes to memory when you first think about some of your favorite games?
The first one that comes to the top of the mind is my sophomore year when we went up to Cleveland, played Benedictine. I feel like everybody they looked at us like they didn't understand why we were playing that team. They thought that it was just a waste game for us. Like, and Benedictine was going to come in there and roll them. And the fact, just the way we started, we hopped on them quick, and then we got an onside kick, scored again, and it was just a very fun game. And I think about that game often.
I mean, we all expect this to be a close game tonight, and you guys have been, kind of dominating the first 3 weeks. So if this game gets close, and what is going to be some of the advice that you have to the new players on the varsity level to handle those close game situations and be ready to make those game winning type plays, maybe in the fourth quarter if you guys have to?
Yeah, honestly, like up to this point, we haven't. I'm not gonna say we haven't been tested, but like obviously our games have been they've been pretty spread out, so we haven't really had to have that worry. But my advice to any kid would be just like Ursuline, they're very talented offense. We know that our defense is good, but their offense is just as good. So we just got to know they're gonna score points, but our offense is gonna score points too. We just got to keep our heads on our shoulders. We can't lose focus of our goal, and if we do that, we're going to be successful tonight.
Now, also in your sophomore season, you guys got to go to Stambaugh Stadium. You got to play in the Ice
Yeah.
Castle. What's the advice for those younger players that are getting their first chance varsity-wise to step into Stambaugh Stadium and kind of
Yeah.
experience the Ice Castle?
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, a football field is a football field. It's 100 yards. You know what I mean? So no matter what venue you're playing at, we know tonight it's going to get loud. A lot of people are going to be there, and obviously game of the week. But if you just remember that everybody plays on a football field, that's 100 yards. Will be good.
When you look at your preparation throughout the week, what's your favorite part of a game week? Is it the film? Is it practice? Is it walkthroughs? What's kind of your favorite part of the process of preparation?
My favorite part is honestly like watching the film, seeing what teams do, breaking it down, and then after watching that film, fully understanding it, going onto the field and seeing it in live action. Especially like for us, our scouts are very important to us. Like even the kids that might not get in on Fridays, they mean just as much as the kids that do play because they give us that great look on Monday through Thursdays and help us see what we're going to see on Fridays.
Playing in a COVID season and being an impact starter varsity wise too in your sophomore season, drawing back to that is a unique experience. Do you feel like that unique experience that season gives you any sort of advantage, or maybe kind of any sort of I guess like I said, advantage going
Yeah.
into games or going into a season?
Yeah, I feel like playing in that COVID year, it was everything that year was just crazy. Like obviously with the mask mandates and all that stuff, but then so that obviously gave us a challenge of what we can and cannot do. But then also the whole season as a whole, like me playing as how young I was as a sophomore, still raw to the varsity experience. I get to learn from the seniors and the juniors that were there, and they helped me tremendously. And I feel like that's what made me the player I am today.
We've talked about the football decisions that made you pick Iowa State, but what about the education? What do you want to go down there and study? And what kind of career path do you want to see yourself in after you do have to hang up the cleats for football?
Yeah, I'm going down there. I believe I'm going to study business, finance, and marketing. And the great thing about Iowa State is they're going to help me get whatever major I want, whatever I want to study, and then they're going to help me make sure I succeed in that. So I know I want to go down in the business road, but I don't know exactly what yet. So
Shout out some of those teachers at Fitch though that have had a huge impact on you and that you couldn't thank enough.
no, I can't thank the Fitch teachers enough. Like they do so much for us. They teach us every day. They make sure we're straight, and then at the same time, they support us on Fridays. So I
Who
can't, like you said, I can't thank them enough.
who's some of the biggest impact teachers in your life down there at Fitch?
Honestly, Mrs. Carroll is she's a big one because Mrs. Carroll, like every single day I see her, she'll ask me about what's going on with the football team. Are we ready for this game? Are we ready? are you guys ready for the night? Like today I saw her before I left school and she was like, are you guys ready for the night? I'm like, of course, Mrs. Carroll. Like, so she always brings that energy too.
Ty said he saw you at last night's volleyball game. Obviously, you guys get great student sections for your games. What's it like to be a part of one in the other sporting events?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like for us, it's very important for us to like go to other teams' events, like because we know at Fitch football, it's a pretty big venue. Like we get all those kids that come watch our games, so we feel like as football players, we should go and support them whenever we can make it. Like we're busy with football, but at the same time, if we got a little extra time, we're gonna go check them out, make sure they see us, and make sure we're heard.
All right, follow-up question to that. Any athlete at Fitch that's not on the football team, you go fall sports, winter sports, spring sports, that you need a poster of, like a signed poster of. What athlete are you trying to get?
I go with Jocelyn Jordan.
All
Jocelyn
right.
Jordan, yeah, she's gonna be a dog when she leaves here. So, like, if I wouldn't be surprised if I see her doing big things in that volleyball, and I'm gonna have to get one signed before she leaves.
For sure, for sure. She's doing big things. I want to go on the
Yeah.
football realm too, because we know football is a game of inches, and we know that it takes 11 guys on offense, defense, special teams. It takes every working part to get those wins. Who's the most underrated football player that you've either played with or against in your career that you think needs some love and shout out, that did all the right things on the field, but maybe never got the spotlight?
Most underrated player. That's a tough question on the spot like that. Honestly, I don't know. I might have to think about that, and we might have to come back to that like later in the because I really don't have an answer for you off the
Right.
spot.
Got him stumped too. I
You
got
got
him.
me. You got me stuck. You got me
Right.
stuck.
What about this one? What about this one? Who is the toughest athlete that you've had to go up against so far in your career?
Honestly, the one guy I'll give huge props to is Cam Thompson from Boardman. Whenever we played them, like he's very solid athlete. He's fast, he's strong, and he has great hands. So whenever we played him, it was always a tough competition whenever I went against him.
I know your mentality of a football field's a football field too, but there are still beautiful stadiums outside of Greenwood Chevy and Falcon Stadium. What's your favorite away stadium that you've gotten a chance to play in?
My favorite stadium for sure had to be Paul Brown Stadium up in Massillon. It's beautiful up there. It's a hostile environment, but like that just feeds me more whenever we play there, and so I'm excited to get down there this year too.
All right. So last thing before we let you go, if you had to kind of look at your teammates, which one do you think you would trust the most to kind of be a getaway driver if you guys had to get away in a hurry?
A getaway driver?
Yeah.
My boy Jay Sean Barrett for sure. Jay Sean Barrett. He puts it whenever he's driving, he puts pedal to the metal. So he'll do this.
He's got the move.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, Cam, I want to give you that chance. Shout out all those support system, all the people that have been there for you and have been there in the bleachers cheering you on throughout your football career.
First, I want to thank, like, obviously my parents, my mom and my dad. They do everything for me. Like, even when I was younger, starting to play football, they would take me everywhere I went. I want to thank my brother and my sister. They do everything for me. Like I said, they're at every single game. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, even from far away. Like I have aunts and uncles in North Carolina, and they watch every single game. So, and also my family in New York on my dad's side, that they do everything for me as well. So,
did a name pop up yet for that underrated player question?
The underrated, that was probably one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked. Like just on the spot like that, like underrated. Honestly, to me, this year, what it was really the underrated player to me is Christian Latone on our team, because Christian Latone, like obviously, I feel like you guys haven't heard his name a lot, especially last year. He didn't really play a lot, but I feel like he's making a difference for our defense this year. And if he keeps doing his thing, like you'll hear his name a lot for sure.
We love spreading that love around to the guys that deserve it as well. We said, 11 guys to get that win, no matter what it is. Good luck tonight, Cam. We know it's going to be a big matchup. It's going to be fun, and you're going to have a great announcing crew with Romo and Leslie tonight.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.